Welcome back. This is Nerd Dad, and we are on episode 13, unlucky 13, hopefully not, of our Factorio playthrough. And we are now going to start figuring out what we're going to do with all these reds. Probably making Science Packs 3s as we've learned their name. But the other thing we wanted to do is check out our engines, because that's going to be the combo that we're going to have to put together. And I already know that we do not build enough engines yet, so let's get to work on figuring out how we're going to improve this situation. I've kind of made a mess of it because I sent some over there, but we're okay. And let's just kind of keep running these over. Oh, what are we short here? Nothing. Okay. Let's get this really quickly thrown together. I don't want to spend too much time getting these engines in place. 4, and then 1, 2, and we're going to go crazy. 3, 4. Let's build. Let's go right out and see if nice counting. Let's see if we can actually get these lines, and I'm not sure whether they're going to be fat enough, thick enough to send us way out there. So we'll do this one first, and then if we can, we'll try to keep running over to there. But I think we'll follow the same model as we did on this side. It seemed to work for us, so use a little bit less. Oh, we're short assembly machines. So let's run down and get some of those quickly. Where are you? Chunk, we'll just grab them. And how are we doing on... Oh, we need all sorts of goodies. We're really sucking through. In fact, I'm not even going to bother getting rid of the excess this time. I think we're just going through so many of those blue inserters, we may as well just grab them. Oh, and look, we're getting a little bit of a backlog here on guns. So let's get ourselves some extras of those. I'm thinking we're going to want some for our walls, so... I think we're okay there, and it's because we're not using military science packs right now, are we? Are we? No, we're not. That's why we've got it nice and backlogged right now. We've been doing other stuff, as they say. Okay, I just gotta kind of remember how it works. Dun, dun, dun. Quick look, quick peek, and then let's go. So those ones have to go on the inside this time, and we need the same thing on the other side, like that. We can then mirror that from this and that. Does that work? Oh, let's hope it does. And this is our offline, right? And this will be our inline, which is going to go something like this. Actually, it's probably going to be just about there. And can we jump all the way across there? Perfect. Get that steel going across there. Get some blue inserters facing in and out. And in and out. Just kind of like that really quickly. And we may as well get our power poles while we're standing here. I'm thinking we'll go over and pick up a few power poles too while we're about as far over this way as we're going to be for a while. And we kind of learned we could kind of almost do this. So I'm thinking we'll just do the same thing again and get away with one power pole. Let's just quickly jog over here. This guy's got like unlimited stamina. Can you imagine if he got tired and you had to stop? It's bad enough we have to run as much as we do. It'd be horrible if we had to do more running. More wood. Perfect. Let's grab some power poles. There's 100 of them, and that'll keep us going. Still haven't laid... I was right where I was going to lay down this radar and forgot to drop it down, so we'll have to remember to do that as well. Somebody please remind me. Okay, and just do this. And control insert, shift in... Whoops. Insert, and there we go. So we've got it set up. We've just got to get the these extras. Why don't I call it steel ore lines over? There's one, and get this one over, and same places. It's not that hard. You just line them up. You just line them up, but don't have to overthink it. Why am I overthinking it? Because apparently, man. It goes the same way. Don't make it so hard. And we need some blues in, like this. Oh, it doesn't matter. And we need blues in like that. And that should give us some more engines. So what we need to do here is kind of get this goofiness fixed up. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of throw a splitter on here like this and just start feeding that over like this. And we will then just start doing this across to here. We'll clean that up in a bit. And we'll just get this box to clean itself out. Because honestly, we don't really need these right now. We've got engines being made. We're going to want a few in reserve. So maybe we just drop a little box here for right now. And we just come along here and say, well, we're going to grab, I don't know, 100 and so engines, and we're just going to drop them in there for making cars, tanks, or whatever, in case we want some. We'll just dump them in there. Then the rest of them can just bleed out of that box, and we'll get rid of this inserter. Okay, so now we're getting a nice little line of these. And what we're looking at is, of course, when we look at our Science Packs 3, we need engines, we need electric mining drills, and we need advanced circuits. So we need to look really quickly. How do we build drills? Well, drills are green sprockets and plate. Do we have any place where we've got that combination? Greens, plates, and hey, we got a double line right here where we could pull off for sprockets, and it's staying nice and thick, so, Anybody think this is a good idea? I'm not too sure, but I'm gonna go with this. I feel as though, why not? We did talk about making this some extra copper, though, so that's gonna be grievous. There will be grief if we do that. Is there another way we could fix that problem? Oh, I'm sure there is. Oh, let's just do it. I'll worry about the outcome later. Okay, so if this is our engines, and our engines are feeding that side, the only reason we're getting two sides of the line, just got to think through what we're getting here. But if we were to double feed, blah, 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 blah. Let's do this. Let's assume that we're going to feed engines. How do we want to do this? Actually, maybe. Oh, but I'm going to be way over here. And I was actually thinking about building the blues right in here, which would be a really close, but I'm kind of, The issue that we got is we know that we need these engines for building electrical engines, which I don't think we have yet, later on. So we're going to need even more engines likely. So we're going to want to even keep pushing this even further up if we can get away with it. So likely we're going to build our blues here and then pipe them back down through here, which is kind of why we want a pretty thick pipe right through there. I'm thinking maybe the best bet for us then is to keep the engines going that way, pull off what we want, and maybe just pull these two lines through. I'm not even sure we need two, though. Yeah, a bit of a humming and a haw in here. What do we need? Let's think it through. We need sprockets on one side, we need those on the other. Okay, let's try something a little goofy here. So we got a few things we can try here. If this is how we're going to build these, we can snake our line a bit. I just want to think about where we're going to snake that line to. I just want to make sure we don't infringe on this area here. Let's see if this will work. Almost wondering if we can get away with the same theory that we did with engines. I don't know. This is a little bit of a goofy one. So if we run a line like that, I gotta be really careful how I'm pulling this line together. I'm gonna want two there and two there. Is that gonna work? Is that gonna give me what I'm gonna want here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it was close. I almost got it. Something like that. Is that going to... That's not going to work because I've pinched this one too much. Oh, okay. I know what I've done. It's going to be like this. Okay. So, yeah, I know this is looking really strange. I'm doing some weird goofiness here. And kind of like this. So I'm gonna try something here. I like goofing. As you probably can tell, I like goofing around and trying new things. So let's do something like this. What we can do is maybe this will work. I'm not sure if it will, but maybe, just maybe. Oops, let's just grab those. And keep that line as clear as we can for now. Bring these over to here. We might be able to get sprockets built into these ones here. And then build our miners on this side. And so basically these reds are going to pull across from here, but we can still pull the greens and stuff here if we tee this line up. So, if I was to maybe build the T like right here, And just kind of do a little jog here. Dun, dun. Kind of jump that over there, and then we'll just kind of shift it in here. And this is where I'm not sure whether we're going to get enough ore to kind of get this to work. So we may have to yank it up, but we're going to take a quick little... We'll take a stab at it and see if it works. It's one of those I'm not sure's. And if it does work, well, then we'll be happy, and well, there'll be celebrations and all that good stuff. Okay, I got 2 lines of engines, so that should be more than ample. I'm thinking we can send the miners out that way. We're going to need another bunch of them, because it does take a lot of miners to build these blues. Oh, there we go. It's building them. It's not building them down there because I haven't hooked the line up. But how full is that line staying? And if that line can keep thick enough, yeah, it's dying out the back end. We can see we're just not quite getting enough. Well, it's kind of getting there, but I don't think we could extend that line further. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to double bump this line. And what I mean by that is we're going to have to basically split this off so that it can split again in behind it, and then path that around here for another bump. Because there's no way, like this back one here, I don't even think it's working right now. So we really do need to bring 2 lines of ore into here, which is unfortunate because it's kind of working. Is it waiting for stuff? It's always kind of debating whether it's waiting. Well, I guess we could say it's okay. I'm not sure I'm excited about it. I wouldn't, I won't be doing my next video on this cool thing that I built, but I will be saying it kind of works, meh. But I think we'll do this. Of course, we have to do that back a little bit further, kind of like that, and we will do a kind of a thing like that. So basically we're going to just replicate that. Yes, I know it doesn't look right, but it just needs a quick little cleanup like that. And we will just sneak down the backside of this, kind of like this. And yeah, I can honestly say, not the prettiest thing I've ever built. But, yeah, it's doing the job. Yeah, we try things, and we go, and we guys say, well, next time, I won't do that, because it was just not brilliant. And sometimes we go, that's the thing we want to use every time. I mean, I remember the first time I kind of built this thing, I went, well, why didn't I think of that before? That's way too easy. And you can see it just kind of, it's a nice pattern too. These things, when you start doing things like this, it always looks goofy. It just looks nice and clean that way. So it's one of the reasons I like doing it that way. It's just, it looks nice. These always, you're kind of like, what was I doing, right? So, yeah, it's a thing. Whatever. Okay, well, why don't we bring this up a couple more? We got the space. 3 episodes from now. Oh, I didn't have the space. That'll be what happens. Yeah, just get rid of a couple things in the way here and pull up a couple. Okay, so I guess we can redo this again. It kind of worked. I'm just trying to get our spacing. Something like that, wasn't it? Think it through. Basically, you need 2 of these in the middle. Kind of like that. And then we got to put in 1 for you, 1 for you. Not the exact way I have the other one set up. Not even close there. And 1 for there, 1 for there, and 1 for there. So, yeah, it's not the same as I got in the other place, but it'll work. It's the same theory in the background. And where's our line going to come up? It's going to come up something like this. We will jump it across like that. Hello. I say, old boy, what are you doing? Okay, and some power, please. And that's getting us power. Dropping a power line in there. These are supposed to be ore gears, or whatever they're called. And this is, I almost told it to make reds. Oh, goodness. Okay. I think we have miners. Miners. Not miners as in young people. Miners as in the drills. Mining drills. That's what we're talking about. Okay, and then we can just bump that over to the far side there. Kind of like that. And now we should be getting someplace. There we go. Just want to make sure, and I see these ones are backlogged, which is fantastic. We want to see something like that because that's beneficial to us. And now what we're going to do is we're going to come along and, you know, we almost could do our blues right on the side of here and just have the blues pulling off. Well, we can do that. I don't like to do it because you're always kind of making sure, you know, you have to have this one running to make sure that it's always working properly. We could. I'm debating it. I don't like to do it, but it doesn't mean it can't work. You know what? Why don't we give it a poke? We'll do it. Let's bite the bullet and try it, and we can say, well, that's something we will never do again. And of course, put the telephone pole way out there. We're not going to want to do that. So we're basically going to tell these guys, we'll put them as far down the end of each of these as we can. And in fact, what we're going to do is we're going to bump this one up. I like to make sure that it's got a little bit of time to pick it up as opposed to not. So we will do that. These are going to be our blue or our Science Pack 3s. And we will just go like this. We are going to need to bring in, I believe, engines and reds. So we will put a nice little T rate. Yeah, we can do it there. And we should be able to bring in the engines from down here. And we probably can tee this up a little bit later. What we'll be doing is probably sending extras down for the reds if we find that the blues aren't pulling off them. I find that the engines have a tendency to back up a little bit, so that's okay. And then what we'll do is we'll just quickly flip that around real quick. You can see we're getting a nice little bit of backlog in there, which is exactly what we wanted to see. And then we can do something like that. Oh, I'm feeling good. Getting Science Pack 3s up. That's always an exciting time. Kind of like when you get the reds in the Science Pack 3s, I always feel like I've sort of rounded a corner in the game because I just know that you get to that point where you're like, oh, I'm just so close to robots. And your life changes when you get to robots. It just kind of does. I can't help it. It just is a thing. Once all of a sudden you can just kind of have things running around doing your stuff for you, it's so much easier. And we're going to play around with a few concepts with the robots. This time I'm going to try a couple of things I've been thinking about using robots for, seeing if I can actually do it, i.e. building from the center of the board and seeing if I can actually make that work somehow. So we might play around with that a bit and see how big of a fail that might be. Oh, it's a beauty. Look at this. It's a beautiful thing. Now, we're going to have to figure out how we're going to get these over here. We probably want to run our engines up here. So what we'll think about is, why don't we just grid this off a little bit, and we'll do something like this. We know this is going to be here, this is going to be here, which means we don't want to be any closer than about there coming down with our blues. And what we will do is we'll just not do that. We will just run a line like this, and we will just tee up this like this. And I got a feeling we're going to need more blues being built. You always seem to need more blues. This one isn't working, so I'm not excited about, well, because I did the same thing as I did on the other side. But you can see how poor our ore is getting. Poor our ore. Yeah, I'm sorry. That was not meant to be a rhyme. It just kind of did. And it's because, well, we're kind of, yeah, this is not good. But we do have a bit of a backlog here. Now, what's going to happen is this will help as a temporary measure, as per usual. And unfortunately, it's not going to help us long term, but yeah, it'll get some more ore over there just to help us out for a little bit. We'll feel good for a bit here. But we are going to be bringing in our blues. So, I'm going to do something like, I don't want to get too much more in this area. I want to be able to mine that. So we're going to ram this in nice and tight. Eventually it's going to cause us grief right here, but right now we're just going to do a nice little burp there. And we'll bring our blue line right into the side there. We're just going to slam it into the hip there and just say, okay. And it'll just go right down that left side for us, and it will be perfect, and we will have blues. Not a lot at this point. We're kind of underproducing them. But, well, at least we're getting them. I can't say I'm excited about how well this is working. Mind you, these miners are kind of doing this thing I'm just not really happy with. But that's okay. We have blue Science Packs or Science Packs 3s. So, what can we do now? We're going to need batteries. We need sulfuric acid. And we need to shush that alarm. Okay, I want to run up here really quickly. Let's just check out our production. So the one thing I'm noticing is we are not having a problem with plastic. That is for sure. We could have a plastic bag factory at this point. It's looking like, I know that's going the way of the dodo, but we definitely could produce that. This is not a problem for us. In fact, if we have any problem at all, it's that we're not really needing our oil at this point. So that's actually a good problem to have. We're sort of sitting here going, well, we're not really burning a lot of stuff here. Let's take a quick look at our graph. So this is about where you start looking at your production stats and saying, well, what's going on? And this bounces around so much, so it drives you nuts. So you take a look at a minute or 10 minutes and get a bit of a feel for what's going on. So in the last minute, we've produced a whole 59 plastic bars, so we're not really chewing them up, and that's because we're only doing about 30 of these a minute, which is not huge. What's our blue at? 21 a minute. Well, the good news is our blues are currently outproducing our greens and our reds, and if we're keeping up on our greens and our reds, well, yeah, that's not really a great way of making. We're making an assumption there that. We're making an assumption that those aren't backlogged or something. Now, they are, but that being said, we know that we can overkill that production. It's the greens where we only got 4 outcoming. We got 4 assembly machines, and we're keeping up with that. So it'll be interesting to see if our blues get backlogged. Where's our military science packs at? We're not even producing them right now because it's so backlogged. So that's, yeah. So that graph can be useful to us. It's given us a bit of information. Doesn't tell us everything. And, the last thing I think I want to do for this episode is go and drop this radar dish that we built specifically for a purpose and then decided we weren't going to lay out. So let's put that right down here. I feel like there should be like, a ceremony or something. Lay down of the radar dish. Should be like fanfare or something. And what did that do to our power? Well, we're still at 50%. So that's actually we said we got about 30. We had about 30 megawatts, and we're just bouncing around the 50% mark. So fantastic. Yeah, I'm feeling good. And yeah, we're gonna call that episode 13. So we've got ourselves into Science Pack 3, or as I like to call them, Blue Potions. Appreciate any likes. Put your comments below. I appreciate any sort of feedback. And, of course, subscribe. And I'm Nerd Dad. This was episode 13. And I'm out.